All right, this is a tutorial on the CSS Organizer plugin by PluginRx, and we're going to just go right into it by jumping over to the back end of an example site, pretty much a fresh install. And let's go ahead and add a new plugin. And typically you would search for CSS Organizer up here because it will be in the WordPress repo shortly. But for now, I'm going ahead and upload it here. We are on version 1.2.0 and we'll activate it. And you can see here that we've got a settings page. And as you can see, we're now in the appearance area with CSS Organizer as a submenu. And what this initially does is it's going to be set up a little bit differently based on what kind of theme you have. WordPress has moved over to using a site editor for templates rather than the WP Customizer. So it depends on the theme. If you're a block theme, then you'll use a site editor. If you're a classic theme, then you'll use that old customizer. Now, I really like the old customizer because you can customize and see it, add CSS to pages, and it's a live preview, so you can actually see it on the page rather than a template that the site editor would do. So this is a block theme that we're using. Just the 2025. And so I can force using that WP Customizer by clicking this option here. And that'll add a customize link over here. And that will give you the old customizer, which is fantastic. So I'm not going to go through the rest of these settings here, but we're going to jump down to the sections. Now what it's going to do is it's going to add different sections that you can organize your CSS in. So by default, it comes with these sections here, and you can add your own, and then you can also remove these and replace them, whatever you want to do. You can also move them. So it's entirely up to you. Now you can also name it if you want to, but we're going to leave it as is for now, and I'll show you what that all looks like. So let's go and jump over to the site editor and show you what it looks like on the block themes. So which is the same thing right here. So if you click on editor or site editor, it's going to jump over and we're going to look at the design part right here. So by default, you do have styles, and then you can add your additional CSS right here. But if we go to the actual template, we click on that, you'll see this is the template editor. And now there is this CSS organizer panel that you can click on. So if you click on that, you can hit the star and it will pin it to the top here. I've already done so. But now you'll see the different sections that you can do your CSS in. So if we just do something simple like background yellow, we may need to make that important. There we go. So you can see that it's still using the live preview. But again, this is just the template. It's not the actual page itself. So it's going to show up very similar to no matter what page you're on. And then you can actually mess with the CSS for the exact page. So that's why I don't typically like using this, but it is an option. So we're going to go back out and let's go all the way out here and back to the CSS organizer. And we're going to force using the customizer for our block theme. Now, again, I'm going to leave these as is, and we're going to just save this, and I'll show you what it looks like with the customizer. So now you can see it added this customize section, and then it'll also change the link at the top. So we're going to go over here, and you can see typically by default, you have an additional CSS section where you would add your CSS. And then what we've done is added this CSS organizer here. And this is where all of your sections are now. So instead of just doing one box, we can actually break it apart into different sections. Again, that's exactly like it is on the back end. and then you can change the layout of this and so forth. So the label that I was talking about that you can change just changes this right here. Now, if we let's go ahead and use a different tab and go back to our settings, you can see that there is also this hide default additional CSS option. If we do that and hit save, go back to the other tab and we'll refresh this, you can see that that additional CSS is now gone. And that's just to make it a little more simplified so that it's not confusing. So now we have all of our CSS in here. The reason why we kept the other one was just in case you had a bunch of CSS in the additional CSS section, you can use it for the time being to copy and paste it into these sections and then hide it if you want or whatever you want to do. So let's go ahead and just show you really quickly. So the WP Customizer has a toolbar, which is really great because it has the option to expand the sidebar just in case you need a little bit more room to do your CSS in. And then it has the ability to wrap code in a media snippet. And it'll also wrap it too. So if you had something like body background red and you want to make it for a media, you just highlight it and then it'll wrap it for you, which is really neat. And then body is, it gives you all of the body classes for this page. So for example, if you were on a different page, not on the home page, and you needed the post ID or page ID, and you only wanted the CSS on that page, then you could just add that class. For here, I only want it on the home page, so I can use the home class and then whatever I want, whatever selector it is. So that just makes it easy to target certain things on the home or from the body class. So now this one here is it's a variable picker, and right now it's empty because we don't have any variables. And I'll show you what it looks like. Let's go back to our CSS organizer and let's go ahead and import this example that I had exported previously. And you'll see that I've added a couple more things, like I added a new mobile screen size. So here is where you would define what screen sizes you want, which is really nice. So that'll change these buttons up here. So we'll add a 2000 one as well. And then let's go ahead and save that. And then we'll go back over here and we'll refresh the page. And then you can see in here now we have a bunch of CSS that we exported previously. So now when you do a variable for in CSS, you would do like a root here, and then you'd have all of your variables that you can use. So then you would just do something like this where you do variable WP secondary, and that's going to pull this right here. So now if we go to these other pages, like the common, for example, if we wanted to do the background color, you can see how it has color BG, but we can just choose any of those now. We can hit our variable picker, and it has all the different options that we had in our root section. Now, they can be in any section, not just the root one. That was just for organization, but it's going to pick out all of those from your sections and list them here. And you can also filter them here. So if we just wanted the ones with color in the name, we can do that. And it actually has a little color next to it, which is helpful. But then I can just do like color error, for example, and you can see that now I'm using that color instead. So it's a pretty handy little tool, but that's pretty much it. I mean, there's not much to it. Going back to our settings page, the only thing that you'll see different is if you have the classic theme, you're not going to have this force option because there's no need for it. So it won't be visible. So if you're wondering where that is, it's probably because you already have a classic theme, and then you won't have the option for the site editor. So, but yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoy this plugin. If you have any questions, please hit us up on Discord or on our support forum on our website. So, and those can be found on the plugins page. You can just go right here to support, and there's also a how-to guide and developer doc. So, hope you like it. Thanks.